lugging around equipment while trying to be quiet about quickly gets Devon sweating through his shirts. He hadn't really thought about the heat, even when Cameron was complaining about it, but his shirts had been blistered to his fur, and he had to take it off. シャツが体に汗でびっしゃりくっついちゃって脱ぐほかなかった。He's making the extra effort not to disturb the coyote because Cameron seems to really be trying. His eyes closed and ears up. キャメロンっていうのはコヨーテの暗獣で、超能力を持ってて、霊を見ることができるシーンですね。今集中してますと。霊を見るために。Devon didn't even need to ask him to take out his phone, so he could record audio. He just did it, and to Devon, that just proves how much Cameron wants to do this. As Devon goes about testing his equipment, Cameron shifts and mumbles something. Dev packs up. 下は履いてた。なんかジャングルブックみたいだね。ジャングルブックに出てきたの、こういうのこの人。ちょっと待って。ジャングルブックに出てきた。俺、ジャングルブックに出てきた。ジャングルブックに出てきたよね。デーボン。これはちょっとリアルすぎるけどさ。似てるね。ほら。これジャングルブックに出てきたね、この人。ターザンと別れた後、心霊系の YouTuber になったんだ。名前なんていうのかな、このクマは。乳首も生えたんだね。毛を剃って乳首を出したんだ。やっぱ都会は暑いから、アメリカ。そういうことだね。I need to get more comfortable. At the same time, he adjusts himself so that his feet on the suitcase in front of him. Okay, something about Cameron's demeanor is bothering Devon, and Cameron's words were little slurred, and he does seem kinda not quite there. Should we pull him out of it? Devon had never seen a psychic in action before, so maybe this is normal, like a trance. He hopes it's normal because even if Devon can find his answers, it'll give them up for Cameron to discover he isn't psychotic. As he's fighting with his EMF sensor, Dredd suddenly clutches at his chest. What if the opposite happened and Cam really did lose his mind? Like when his mom got psychosis? If that happens, Devon is only now realizing that he'd be responsible, and how could Cameron forgive him for that? How could he forgive himself? Shit. Dev hisses under his breath. What the fuck is he doing? Bringing his boyfriend to this room. Where that happened? He was usually alone or with friends when doing these investigations, and he'd wanna see something. Always overpowered the fear. He'd just assumed Cam would be used to scary shit, especially after he described that flat-faced creature in a raincoat that he'd been seeing since he was a kid. He just assumed. Why is it only now that he's realizing what the consequences can be? Well, it's because the things Cameron had told him by the lake had changed a lot of things in Bella's mind. This isn't something a loving partner does to another partner. He's fucking using Cameron for his own selfish reasons. Devon knows that the coyote had some kind of ESP abilities, but that didn't mean he didn't also have other issues that could fuck him up. That didn't mean that possibly seeing these awful things wouldn't cause him to develop more issues. All the wind taken out of his sails, Devon stares at the ground, thinking. Then he gets up and paces for a bit, beginning to make up his mind, deciding that right after this, they are done, no matter what. The bear looks at the closet, the one where Wolf from the Meseta Tribal Council hung himself in the early 90s. え首を吊ったの90年代に狼が首を吊ったクローゼットを見た。If only he could see one thing, just one silver of proof that she's okay on the other side, he'll be at peace with all this. Really, the biggest hurdle ahead of him is embarrassment of ditching his plans and figuring out how to tell Cameron why. Dave lets out a shuddering sigh, standing in the closet, looking at the bar, wondering if it's the same one that Wolf used. Devon feels something. Not a good something. A chill runs up his spine, and suddenly he's shivering. No way. It's actually happening. Holy shit. Holy shit. It's all he can manage to say. It's happening, but it feels so long. Then a fear that he's never known before takes over. He wants to turn around. He wants to call out to Cameron, but it's like something is around his neck, holding him in place. And then he hears a terrible sound behind him. お化けが出たのかな？ターザンのお化けが。Cameron knows something is happening for sure. And then, こう見たね。It's scary, but at the same time, it's making him question what he'd always believed. Had Devon been right about this stuff? Had he just misunderstood himself for so long? He'd sensed someone, nothing like the monsters he'd seen in the past. Instead, this was a man in a suit with a borrowed tie. He was sad, he was angry, and he was terrified. Cameron knew this was often what psychics described when talking about sensing people from the past. You feel their most intense moment in life. This man, this wolf, is going to do something terrible. And while Cameron is marveling over this, the wolf suddenly changes. ウルフっていうのはこの部屋で首を吊った狼のことだね。At the same time, Cameron feels his focus turn to him. He gives the coyote pose because now this presence was trying to interact with him. Was this right? Cameron thinks it could be, but something doesn't feel right about it. Like this isn't what he thinks it is, but he supposes that anyone doing this for the first time to feel it to be strange. Maybe he was doing the right sensing wrong. The point is to listen to the past like a recording. This direct communication is scaring the coyote, but this could be his chance to answer Dev's question, and his own question for that matter. I'm sorry to bother you. What's after death? Where do we go? 無になるんだよ、死んだら。 He feels stupid and clumsy, but it's all that comes to his mind, so Cameron asks it over and over. There's a long, empty pause. なんか笑い声が聞こえる。And then something like a チャコじゃない。カッコ。It almost sounds fake, like a Halloween toy, but it's dark, mean, and it's making fun of him. All the feelings of wonder and hope for breakthrough are deflated instantly. He needs to open his eyes. ケフカの笑い声みたい。Cameron's eyes are heavy and he can barely focus. クマだけに。Something has gone terribly wrong. This presence is evil, malicious. This isn't a person. Now, all that Coyote can sense is that a profound tragedy has just taken place. He needs Devon, and he thinks he sees him as his vision begins to slowly focus. これなんか見えているね。あ？ちょっと待って。首つってんじゃねえの？よく見えないけど。このクマが。At first, Cameron doesn't understand what he's seeing. How is Dave standing like that? ちょっと待って。Why isn't he moving? He realizes why over the next few seconds. The unnatural way Dave's weight seems to pull up at his neck says it all. Cameron starts to screaming, but it's weak, muffled, barely a wheeze from his throat, and he can move. Paralysis. This isn't real. This is sleep paralysis. 金縛りか。But something about this is so fucked, so real, and he couldn't have fallen asleep. He's almost positive about that. But even if he heard, his boyfriend could actually hear hanging himself while the coyote sits uselessly on the couch. Terror begins to engulf him. Could this happen? How could he do this? スマホ。How? デブから電話来た。このクマから。Cameron tries screaming again, but again, it's just a wheeze of breath. He stares at Devon's contact image instead of Devon dead in the closet. これ夢の中なんじゃないの？ちゃんと尻尾のために穴開けてんだね。Damage jeans. They took the picture in college 5 years ago and just months into their relationship. 5年前の写真なんだって。At that time, Elbert's talking to show his other gay friends to prove he had a boyfriend and he was a handsome bear. And he'd never change it, even though he had no one to show off to anymore. How the hell did they end up here? The phone picks up and switches to speaker automatically. 勝手に受信した。Cameron knows deep down that this must be a dream, but Devon is still hanging in the closet. 入りきってない。クローゼットの中に。And he's overcome by horror that this could just be a partial dream, and that's the worst part of it, real. It makes Cameron try and fail to scream again. You want to know, like? Cameron stares at the phone, unable to understand through the static, but able to recognize the voice. You said, you wanted to know what? Like to die? Devon ね。I'd say it's like drowning forever. Conscious forever while you suffocate for what made you happy when you were alive. Then again, you don't believe in anything, so what you really want to know is what it's like to disappear. Because you are scared. You tell yourself you want to die, that you wish your mom didn't save your worthless life, that you deserve it. Now you tell yourself that if it weren't for me, you'd have ended things back in college. We both know that's a lie because you're a fucking coward. これは自分の深層心理なのかな。自分に言い聞かせてきたことなんだろうか。You'll stay alive as long as you can. Be with someone who can keep you alive. I could have treated you like absolute shit the past 5 years and you'll still be around today. You fucking begged Dylan not to leave you just weeks after he punched you and gave you the scar. The one you say you got from failing against the cabinet. You are sick. 何昔元彼に DV 受けてたってこと Meanwhile, you let me put you in this situation. You said you wanted it. Do you still want it? No, 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 please, God, no. Cameron can't even move his lips. Anyway, I'm getting a little off topic, aren't I? You wanted to know what the afterlife is like? I'll give you an idea. 親切だね。死後の世界を教えてくれるんだって。死んだ人に聞くのが一番確実だ。Devon's voice becomes more muffled. クマはクマの天国に行くんじゃないの？違うかな。コヨーテはコヨーテの天国があるんじゃない？ Yo, Lupita, tell my boyfriend what it's like. It's quiet for a moment. And Cameron just sits in stunned misery, just waiting. A terrible demonic scream screeches through the phone and Cameron's fur blisters all over his body. And he fights this prison that deals with everything he hurts. And finally breaks free. 目が覚めたのかな？夢だったのかな？ It takes Devon a moment to realize the terrible sound is coming from Cameron. He's never heard him make a sound like that before. At the moment, 聞く来てたのか。Whatever it is that has a hold on the bear dissolves and Devon turns around, heaving for breath. When Dev looks at him, he sees Cameron's eyes are wide open. 目開けたまねてん。Cameron makes the sound again. Though Devon has no idea what Cameron's seeing, he knows that it's something terrible. Devon feels himself beginning to panic. Baby, please, what's happening? Cameron just stares back and Devon finally snaps. Cameron. Devon is stepping out of the closet when suddenly Cameron ranks off the couch, making a feral sound. 生きてたんだね。夢だったんだ。The look in the coyote's eyes is so intensely unlike him that Devon drew back in fear. Honey, it's me. Devon. To Dev's shock, Cameron's paws fly to the bear's neck, but instead of squeezing like the thinks he's going to, they rip at the thick fur there. Wait, stop! Devon managed to catch Cameron's paws in his own much larger paws, easily retraining the smaller male. Cameron continued to stare at Devon's neck, seeming to search intently. Then he looks up at Dev's face. I saw you dead. You called me and screamed at me. Though Devon doesn't understand, he can tell this wasn't one of the Cameron's typical night terrors. The look on his face says it all. これはでもさ、予知夢だったのかな？このコヨーテの超能力による。Fuck! I'm really, really sorry. I'm driving you to the Payton right now. Payton right now. 何 Payton? Or wherever the hell you wanna go. But as Devon tries to pull him to the door, Cameron resists. Wait. Just let me catch my breath, okay? Okay. Just take a breath, okay? Devon fumbles with the lantern until he turns it on. 泣いてる。Then he stands next to Cameron for a few moments, listening to him sob. Can I at least hold you, please? Cameron leans toward him as an answer. While Dave strokes his head, Cameron starts to rub his back, like he knows that Dave had been terrified too. I'm fine. It was just a really intense vision. I'm so sorry. I've never seen you like that before. You scared the absolute shit out of me. Did you think I was attacking you? Huh? You are going after my neck, Sota. Oh no, I saw you hanging in the closet. Cameron's breath hitched in his chest, like from your neck. Oh shit. Yeah, and it was so fucking real. They hold each other in silence for a while, Devon mulling over what Cameron just told him. Devon no longer has doubts that Cameron is psychic, but right now, that doesn't matter. He just wants the coyote to feel safe again. Devon? Yeah, honey? I think you're right. What about something happened? I don't know if it's ghosts or whatever the hell else that could have been, but that wasn't just me. I've never felt or seen things like that before. There's more to this than me being crazy. 何かいるんだね、確実に。呪われた場所なんだな。There has to be. We can talk about this when we were in Payton, okay? Deb, I promise to be honest with you, and I need to tell you something now. Otherwise, I probably never will. Why is it? Deb's heart starts to pound as he sees the look on Cameron's face. Lupita was in this vision, Deb. But please believe me when I say that I don't think it was really her, but... ルピタっていうなんか女性いるんだね。What? Cameron hesitates. Cameron, please tell me. I'm really sorry, but I heard her and it was awful and I don't know. It was just a scream. It was horrible. The floor seems to fall out from under Devon and he feels like he's falling into an abyss. なんだ、どういう関係なんだ。夢の中に出てきたルピタっていう人。もう帰るのか。Cameron watches as the motor parking lot disappears into the night. They have left most of their stuff behind in the room, only bringing along what they absolutely needed. Cameron had wanted to take it a bit slower to think things over before running away like this. But weirdly enough, it was Devon that was ushering him out as quickly as he could. Well, no, it made sense. What was truly weird was how Cameron had felt and how he still feels now. Despite what has just happened, despite the absolute horror of it all, there's a part of Cameron that still wants to stay. まだ気になっちゃうんだ。Cameron has to assume that this is nothing like what Dave had seen in his previous investigations. That maybe he also felt the overwhelming feeling of wrongness. But it also feels wrong to just leave after hearing what he had heard. He'd expected Deb to want to study after Cameron told him about Lupita. And if Deb had asked him to stay, Cameron would have done so, if only to search for better closure after hearing her scream. Despite Deb's calm appearance, Cameron knows his mind must be in turmoil right now. Now, with the night ending like this, he thinks that maybe he should have told Devon what he heard. Yeah, he promised to be honest about it, but the hallucination, no. The vision. なんかゲームセンターの名前みたいな。The vision. Felt like a lie somehow. A trick. ビジョンっていうさ、あるんでゲームセンターが。これね。これね。ビジョン。ゲーマーズビジョン。もうなくなりましたけどね。僕の昔に。倒産した。電気代高騰して。それを思い出しちゃいました。自分行ったことないけどね。話に聞いただけ。Felt like a lie somehow, a trick. It felt real, it happened, but it also felt like something not nefarious was behind it all. He felt it when the wolf focused on him, as if the dancing something had taken the wheel and started steering things where it wanted them to go. Even if he has no idea what that something could be, Cameron hopes that's the case. The alternative is that afterlife really is only suffering, and that'll mean his mother is in the same place. Everyone's going to that place. Cameron squirms in his seat, the feeling of a suffocating dread creeping up under his neck, drawing forever. Cameron suddenly turns to look at his boyfriend, unable to deal with the awkward silence any longer. Devon? そう、なんかさ、エレベーターの中とかさ、無言の時間が続くとさ、知り合いの人と乗ってる時にね、なんか無言が恐ろしくて、ついついなんかどうでもいいこと話しちゃうよね。絞り出しちゃってさ、別に聞きたくもないようなことをさ、昨日何してましたかと全く興味はないんだけどね。間を持たせるためになんか言おうって思っちゃう。不思議だよね。あの欲求、焦燥感っていうのはさ、本能的なものだと思うの。多分、なんだろうね。不思議だね。鳥がさ、ピヨピヨ泣いてんのと同じことかもね。泣いてないと落ち着かないんじゃないきっと。あれも。群れがさ、近くにいるときは。Devon tilts his head slightly in Cameron's direction, broads eyes to show he's listening. Yeah, honey. He doesn't take his eyes off the road. Either because it's night time, or more likely because of what they just dealt with. The bear is being notably cautious. Still, there's a sense of urgency in his driving, like it's trying to get out of there as fast as he can. Cameron struggled to find the right words. Hey, let's talk when I get on the freeway, okay? I just got to focus right now. Cameron can't wait until then. Are we coming back? 戻らないかって。Cameron sees Deb's broad eyes again, this time in surprise. No, of course not. We are done. I'm an idiot for doing this in the first place and again. I'm sorry. Cameron can't crush the feeling that he should be the one apologizing right now. But there's a theme park in Peyton called Southwest Adventures. I thought about going there at the end of our investigation, but we could do that tomorrow instead. Dave pauses, apparently waiting for a response, but Cameron can't think of one to give him. I think it could be fun. Cameron is almost certain that's the same word Devon used just before they left to describe how this investigation would feel. Fun. I think we need to come back. We can just leave things like that. That was just so fucked. Cameron sees Dave grit his teeth and Coyote feels himself recoil a bit, like he did on a daily basis with Dylan. Sorry, No, you're fine. I'm just having trouble seeing the goddamn road. Let's just leave it until I can see where I'm going, okay? Hon? The Coyote steels himself. He shouldn't ever feel afraid of Devon. He doesn't need to. I think we should come back tomorrow. Keep this going like you planned. There's something more to this, and I want to help find out what it is. He says it firmly in a way that he hopes show Devon that he's not completely fragile, even if he did break down in the motel room. Devon is quiet, and Cameron feels himself start to get a little frustrated that he's being ignored. But then the bear responds. 今運転に集中してんだからさ、話しかけちゃダメで。No, I don't think so. I'll probably come back, but with another psychic. I'm not gonna put you through the ever again. 危険だからね。廃人になっちゃうかもしんない。あのまま続けてたら。Despite knowing Devon means no offense by that, Cameron feels offended. Like Devon doesn't think he's good enough or strong enough to do this. But I want to, especially if you're just gonna come back. You think I'm just gonna sit at home, knowing you're back out in this hellhole? Listen, Cameron, I've been to a lot of haunted places, but there's something different about this town that feels really off. Fucked like you said. But I don't want you anywhere near it. 気遣ってんだね。恋人のことをさ。You said to pull you back if things go south, and they went south. Now it's Cameron who gives his teeth. グリッツか。But I want to. Do you still want it? I know you need to find answers, but after feeling what I felt, I need answers too. Dave's careful maneuvering along the broken road hits a pothole and the interior shakes. Devon winces. Babe, please, let's talk about this later. I just wanna get us to Peyton safely right now. And just like that, Cameron's determination dries up. He hates himself for being such a coward. Things had always felt so unequal in their relationship, but it was rare for Dave to just say it out loud. To tell the Coyote what's good for him, even though Cameron told him what he wanted. It's nothing like it was with Dylan, but the feeling is similar, and Cameron doesn't like that. Well, what if I don't want you to come back here either? Devon takes a deep breath but manages to keep calm. Then we can talk about it when we are safely back home. Cameron goes quiet again. They are hauled away past a lake. The body of water looking like a giant dark pit except where the moon glitters on its surface. And that's when Cameron sees something out of the corner of his eye. There's something on the road between two craters of a broken asphalt. Cameron stares for several seconds, not sure if he's seeing what he thinks he's seeing. He waits for Devon to say something, to wonder what the hell is in front of them. 湖について、で、なんか物陰に誰かがいるんだって。誰がいるんだろうね。But he says nothing, almost like he doesn't see it. Yet, there it is, right in front of them. And it's right where Devon is about to go, and the bear isn't stopping. Cameron managed to jerk himself out with stunned daze. 驚いてる。Oh my god! Deb, look! Huh? What? Deb finally looks at Cameron, his eyes off the road, and still the jeep moves forward. Stop! Why isn't he stopping? The coyote does the first thing that comes to his mind. Time slows down. It's just like what happened back in the high school, right before he got hit by a car while skateboarding. He has more time to react now than he listens through. So, and he slides his arm under his seatbelt to get free and reaches across to Devon's side. いやー、交通事故はね、防ぎようがないよね。防ぎようがないから事故なんだよね。He grabs the wheel, and even though Devon is starting to brake, it's not fast enough, and they are less than 20 feet away from hitting. なんだと The coyote doesn't even think, acting on pure instinct. Cameron turns the wheel to the right. Hard. 何が言ったんでしょうか。Devon can't comprehend what Cameron's doing before they hear something, and the jolt is far worse than any pothole he's hit on the road. First, he had been thrown to the left, slamming into his window before he bounces back towards Cameron. Then the bear is thrown into his seatbelt. 眠くなってきたんで、今日はここまでにいたします。さよなら。